Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Clubhouse with Austin and David. We are joined by an esteemed guest. Normally, we said last week we would be bi weekly, and I think we will stick to that, but something so crazy happened that we had to cover it. We had to get the content out to the people. One of our locals and our esteemed guest for this evening, Kenneth, placed 70th at the Toronto Regionals. We're here to talk all about it. What's up, y'all?
Not
Hey
much.
everyone, how's it going? I just wanted to say real quick that you could say the number 70, but let's not try to sanitize a top 128 real quick. I was pretty close to number 64, but I got the same pricing and the same points as the rest of the top 128.
Top what 128 Toronto Regionals. Um, I mean that's crazy. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about the run.
Yeah, so as everyone said, I'm Kenneth. I play in the Chicago area, specifically at the Good Games store that the most of us are locals at. I've been playing for about a year and a half now, maybe a little over a year and a half. I started right around the release of Temporal Forces, um, and then I didn't attend any majors that season, and then I attended my first major in Baltimore that fall. Um, I did really well. I was placed top 64, and I was one win out of cut. Uh, but I was playing a Snorlax deck, which is not historically the most challenging deck to play. Um, you kind of just sit there a lot of time and watch your opponent through the game. Um, and your actions per turn are pretty limited. So, but I thought my list was pretty good, and my gameplay throughout the tournament was generally pretty good. Obviously I didn't get it done on stream, but that's fine. Um, for the rest of the season, I was honestly, I was struggling to convert. I think I went to San Antonio next, and I played a really broken Pidgeot deck that got top four at the event. But I lost a win in round nine, and I didn't play super clean in that one either.
Hmm.
And then rest of the season, I was one or two wins off day two for the rest of the season in general. I think I lost another win in at NAIC. So it was kind of a bummer to be so deep into day two at my first regional and then just not be able to convert it all for the rest of the season. But I think I learned a lot about how to play the game and how much growth I still had to do, right, to not be
Yeah, yeah.
expecting results as a result of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
first regional, getting top 64 and playing on stream is kind of nutty.
Yeah.
I don't know if most are doing that.
Yeah. I mean I hope that's not the peak of my Pokemon trading card career.
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Yeah. But we move and we learn, right? Yeah.
Facts, facts.
Cool. Yeah, so this season, I've been to two majors so far, and I've actually converted into phase two in both of them, which I'm pretty happy about. After missing for an entire season, getting two back to back feels pretty good. At Milwaukee, it was the first tournament in the mega format, and we got this Lily's card, which I realized actually made this kind of goofy Froslass deck that I've been playing for a while a lot more consistent, right? Because you weren't just smashing this research and praying you'd have to discard all your stuff every turn.
Yeah. This is the
And
birth of the Knixty.
and because you're never really taking prizes for most of the game, you're kind of just sitting behind a Badoo and building damage on the board. The Lily draws you eight every single turn, which is actually very powerful. Um, so yeah, I thought the deck was a pretty good play for that event. Um, Obviously, I didn't do I converted into day two, but I didn't play super well in the mid rounds of day one, so I didn't go into day two with the best record, and then I had a pretty so and so day two performance. I went 3-3 I think, and then finished top 256. And most of the time when I lost the game, it was gameplay errors. So just me playing poorly. Um, But yeah, I felt like I learned like a decent amount from that experience, which is that like I needed to like put in like more time like testing like niche situations or like specific matchups in like a very focused manner, like with people that
Mm.
knew how to play against the deck.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd be able to handle these like strange situations that came up. Um,
Right, right.
yeah. But yeah, I mean that was like pretty nice to like actually convert into a day two, and then obviously for this Toronto regional, my finish was like okay, but like I felt like I played generally pretty well outside like one or two things that we can discuss later. Um, and yeah, that's been my season so far. So,
Nice. What's the goal? You shooting for worlds?
uh, I have never really considered that as like a big motivator for me. I think generally when I go to tournaments, I go with the idea of like trying to win the tournament and like or like play well, like like show up and like make sure that I'm like happy with my play. And then obviously like you
Yeah.
like show up and you play and you're like almost never happy with like how you played.
Right, right.
Um, and I've always considered the world's invite to be like a symptom of your season, right? So like you're not
Mm.
like I don't want to go to a tournament and say like I would like to score 100 championship points.
Right, right.
I kind of want to like I'd rather be in the position where like you look back on a season, you're like, wow, I played well at like X amount of tournaments, and then I ended up with X amount of points, right?
Right, right.
Um, so yeah, that's like what I mean when I say like the world's invite is like a symptom of like a great season as opposed to
Yeah.
like a goal to like reach for and chase. Because I think it's like if you're trying to get points at tournaments, like it's gonna stunt your ceiling of like how you stunt your ceiling and your preparation, like how you approach it. So I would just prefer not really to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're more into like, it'll come when it comes. When I'm so gassed that they need me at the worlds.
Yeah, yeah. You either deserve it or you don't, and I you either deserve it or you don't. I don't really like believe in like trying to like tailor my season to try to hit that, right? I kind of just like want to go to tournaments and do well.
Yeah. Austin, I understand you were part of the testing group for the Froslass deck.
Um, you can use the word testing group. I was in a group chat, so I would say that the testing I did is run a couple of games and say, "Wow,
Yeah.
Kenneth, you're so good at deck building." And then I guess my Milwaukee story, the only regional that I've attended this year, I think I made like 4 rounds in before I gave up. Uh,
Nice.
so like Frost's Monkey Dory is a deck that's like it's really fun and like most matchups are winnable or at least interesting, but it is like very mentally taxing to play. And
Mm.
I kind of like woke up, didn't like sleep very well. I was like way under practiced, and I was like, why am I putting myself through this? So I kind of just scrubbed out, uh, dropped. I think like I had one
Side
game
events.
that like I don't even remember what it was. I think it was like Dragapult Charizard, where I had like such an egregious misplay, or I was like,
Mm.
I don't think there's a shot for me to do phase two based off of like that level of play. And even like the matchups I was
You were like
winning,
a
I should not have won by how sloppy I was playing.
you're like the Metaphy student. You got the 60, but you couldn't take it all the way.
Oh yeah, totally. I think that like the list was good because the other person who had the list, Anna, friend of the pod, I guess,
Friend of the
she
pod for sure.
she was like 1 win off from day two, phase two, whatever. And I think it was like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to quote her, but I think it was like a very like pseudo luck sack on one of the games that like kicked her out, or she got like luck sacked 1 round, which happens on the deck.
Yeah.
Like it is a very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a very cool deck, and I was like a Froslass item lock believer. I used to play Froslass Venomoth on ladder like constantly. That used to be like my go-to jam. Uh,
Yeah.
Froslass might be my favorite card in formats like Clay Jack Swift. I was a Grimmsnarl fan before like
Yeah.
it mentally broke me, and I had to like sleeve
Yeah.
it or unsleeve it. The deck's good. I think it's like I think one thing about Kenneth and like the decks he's choosing is that he does have like a good rationale behind like why it's the choice for the tournament and does think about like what cards what the function are of the cards that he's including. So it's interesting to like get his thought
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, leak the sauce, Kenneth. Like what how did you get to your 60? And how did you know like yes, cuz I know you like control, but how did you know like yes, we're on Pidgeot this tournament?
Uh, well, I mean, we can also talk about Froslass, I guess. So, like, the first
True.
thing, like, the reason I thought Froslass was good for Milwaukee, and I still think it was, and if I was like a better player, I had like played better in general, I think I could have converted into like a better finish. But I thought that Grimmsnarl was in like maybe the best spot it had been. But as
Mm.
like a bunch of our locals know, like I think this Grimmsnarl deck is so bad, right? Like you like hit people with Shadow
Yeah.
Bullet, you take like 2 or 3 prizes, and then they Iono you to 4, and you actually just draw like the 4 most like unplayable cards in your deck. Like you're like up
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
prizes, you draw like Counter Catcher, Counter Catcher, Devo, like Artisan. You're like, wow, I am gonna kill myself. Like this is actually like one of the worst like set of cards I possibly could have drawn, and it's like all my fault. So my
Yeah.
rationale is that this Lily card was like extremely good, and sitting at 6 and doing nothing was way better than like hitting people in the face with Shadow Bullet, right, and feeding a 2 prizer in the process, right? Because like the biggest problem with the Grimmsnarl deck is you make a Grimmsnarl, you hit them with Shadow Bullet, and then they Iona you and knock out your Grimmsnarl. You actually have no plays like on the board to make.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I felt like
Except like Itchy Pollen.
yeah, exactly. But like they weren't not even all the Grimstars were playing Badu at that point, and
Mm.
Badu is pretty good, so I wanted to play more
Right, right.
Badus.
Right.
Yeah, so more or
Why
less
not
like
just do all Badoo?
yeah, more or less I just cut all the Grimstar cards out of the deck and then replaced them with like more Badus, more Gusts, and like extra Devo and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I felt like spread was in like a pretty good spot, and I wanted to capitalize on that, but not play Grimmsnarl. The other thing with Grimmsnarl is because you're like constantly pushing this 2 prize attacker, Golden Go kind of just like runs you over a lot of the time. Like they'll boss they'll like take a couple knockers with Soul Rock and then they'll boss your Frostlass and you push a Grimmsnarl and they just instantly blow that up and you actually just like have like no way to get around this a lot of the time.
Mm.
Um so because I like obviously could see that Golden Go with like the rocks was gonna be like a big play for Milwaukee,
Yeah.
I was just like, what if we just like made our golden go matchup good instead of bad? Like I think that would like be like a huge like change in your like win percentage.
Right, right.
Yeah, so that's like why I settled on Frostlass for Milwaukee. I don't really have like many regrets about that. I just like wish I was like better at the game. I think, and that probably would have been like a better resulted in a better finish if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I imagine that is a hard deck.
yeah, no, it's definitely difficult. Yeah, like I definitely empathize with Austin when he was saying that like you just like sometimes there's like you don't know where the damage is supposed to come from and like where exactly it's supposed to go with all your like monkey triggers and like you have to like manage your like counter catchers and like sometimes the itchy pollen like 10 like actually matters a lot. Or you need to sneak in
Mm.
like a mind bend to like shove like a bunch of damage onto their field at once.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot of like micro actions with the deck. And then you that like will catch up with you later if you like mess it up. Like you'll like be lining up a Devo play. You're like, oh, I could have put like 10 or 20 more damage over here, and then it would have like made that a lot cleaner. And you're like, oh, I lost the game 4 turns ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I
I think the
needed
deck
that
was like
extra
hard.
energy.
Yeah, the deck is hard. I think it's harder than Grimmsnarl even because Grimmsnarl you can kind of just like dump damage on their side of the board. At like the expense of like feeding a 2 prizer, but yeah. So yeah, anyway, that's like all like my like Frostlass like theory in general. But you notice I like wasn't even really on the radar for Toronto. Because I like kind of like came to the conclusion that like this Dragapult matchup is like a lot harder than I thought it was. Um, if you like
Yeah.
sack them really bad, you can hit them with like Evo double Froslass and then just try to Devo like shove damage through their Dracloaks like over and over again. Um, but like when I was playing the matchup more, I was like, oh, sometimes you just like miss Froslass and you just instantly lose the game off your like Lily for 8, or they like item lock you, you can't play the game. So I didn't feel great
Mm.
about that. And then the Guardian matchup has always been like suspect. Like we play this like Ting Lu that like shuts off the monkeys, but like it doesn't always get it done. And like sometimes and like the Diancie is like kind of annoying, and then sometimes like Guardy playing more psychics and then more Evos and actually being able to set up through the item lock was like generally like not great for Frost's position. So like I kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
never really thought about it for Toronto. I was like actually like more or less. I mean, I think I told people like on this. I was more or less like on Gardevoir for like a really long time. Um, I really like the Makani Tran Las Vegas list with the Fluttermane and the TM Devo. Um,
Mm.
my friend was like playing that deck a lot. I think he won like the full grip 3K with it, and then he like did pretty well in
Hey.
Stuttgart with it. Uh, so I was like pretty interested in playing this like Fluttermane deck because it's like really fun, right? And then I personally was playing it locally a little bit. I won like maybe like one or two challenges, and then I like won like our like local league cup with it. Uh, and like the deck's like power level is like pretty good, right? In general, like the Devo
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
puts like a ton of pressure on Dengo, and like the Fluttermane in general is just like kind of like a good attacker. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I felt like pretty good about that deck. Like before I left for the holiday, and then I watched Stuttgart. Donzard came out. I was like, wow, this is like kind of annoying, but you can still like get this like Donzard deck a decent amount of time because their deck is like kind of fragile. And we were working with this early Devo play in the matchup where when they go Candy Pidgeot, Candy Zard, you just instantly rip the Devo on them and then kind of force them to choose whether they want to have Pidgeot or Dusknoir for the rest of the game, right? Because it's like
Mm.
if you got a Monkey Dark down, you can gatekeep the like one of those pieces the whole game, right?
Right, right.
So that matchup actually felt like okay, but it was like definitely uncomfortable. But the real nail in the coffin for this Fluttermane deck was like the new 8 Psychic Lux Cape deck that like Henry Chow dropped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the matchup with that deck is so bad because they could like Lux Cape their monkey. They have an extra, then they have 2 health tools, so their monkeys are way more resilient than yours. So you're like almost
Yeah.
always gonna like be like pushed and stretched on like the resources. And they have 8 psychics, so they're like just stronger than you in general, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so like I was like feeling bad about this, and then I noticed that like Makani was like not playing Fluttermane on Twitter anymore. Like I would see him like he always posts like challenge win, local win, like win a box, and it's like you can see like what he's playing because he'll like post like the Gardevoir and the Fluttermane and the Devo. He'd be like, oh there, yeah, I won again. But he started posting like Gardevoir, Screamtail, Luxcape, and I'd be like, all right, he's playing this too. Like I'm probably not smarter than this guy. He's like a really really good player. I'm probably hopping off this Fluttermane deck too. So I was playing this like Screamtail, 8 Psychics, Lux Cape deck on ladder. It was like fine. I was like, this is like okay. This is not as fun as Fluttermane. I miss my Fluttermane. Um, and I was kind of just like, all right, I guess I have to play Guardy. Like whatever, like it's fine. Um, but then my friend Blitzel messages me and he's like, yo, he's like, I've been playing this Pidgeot deck in Mickey's and I think I fixed the Dengo matchup. The reason that like I wasn't considering Pidgeot before he like messaged me was that before Phantasmal Flames, the Pidgeot deck was like okay, and your Dengo plan was like you would just kind of like shove this Frillish over and over and over again and just run them out of energy, because they
Mm.
can't really get them back without items, right? And then they only have like the one Lana, so you can kind of like run them out of energy in general and then kind of just deck them out. But all the Dengos like were playing like stupid stuff like the Lopunny, right? Which is like it's like a brutal for the Frillish because it just like comes in the active and kills your Frillish like over and over and over again, and you actually can't like deck them out anymore because they have too much like pressure on you without items. Um, so this like plan wasn't like viable anymore to beat Dengo. So like we were kind of like had just like generally ruled out. Um, but we came up with this new idea, which was to um, block their Turo and then trap either Genesect, Fez, or like one of the rocks in the active with a Knackley, which only does 10 damage instead of the 20 that our Sudowoodo does. Because Dengo doesn't play Iono or like a ton of ways to put stuff back into their deck, you can kind of
Right,
just
right.
like sit there. And if I like get your Lunatone for 10 turns and I get your Soul Rock for 10 turns, like you're gonna draw 20 cards and you're probably gonna deck out. And this idea like is actually generally pretty good. And then obviously the Dengo players, because they're Dengo players, like they're helping you out by like clicking coin bonus and lunar cycle, to, like trying to get out of it and figure out what's going
Right,
on.
right.
Um, but like fixing the Dengo matchup kind of just gave me like hope to play Pidgeot. So yeah, that's more or less why I ended up on the deck. I don't know if you guys like want to talk about like the list itself or like what's going on, but like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
how I got
was
there.
there any like I'm curious to know if there was like any changes you wanted to make right away. Um or any changes you wanted to make after, I guess.
Like
Austin, what
post
were you saying?
post event or
Yeah, like post discovery, but then also post event.
oh, gotcha. Well, there was like an early version of the deck we were playing with like Shuckle Defiance Vest. Because the idea was if you can get this melodic down and like your Genesect to block Prime and you're Knackley cornering like a Lunatone or the Soul Rock in the active, you can slap like a Defiance Vest on it and just continuously heal all the damage off so they like can never ever make any actual progress.
Mm.
Um, and that was like okay, but I think the reason we went away from that was that like the Shuckle is like so annoying to like have to bench. He's like not very good in a lot of matchups. It's not super relevant against like Dragapult. It's like okay against Gardevoir. It's like bad against Donzard. So there's like Shuckle's like
Yeah.
consuming a bench spot, demanding one of your Prism energies, and then like it just like didn't feel like I needed this. I think to get it done against Dengo a lot of the time. Um, so we kind of like just like cut the cards. I think the reason that we went from Defiance Vest to Bravery Charm is it's really good to have two health tools, HP boosting tools for your Feebas, and not necessarily have one of them be Lux Cape. Um, so it kind of like gives you a little more flexibility and also makes you a little more resistant against pricing. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean like it just like you like obviously because like the Feebas the melodic that blocks Turo is like so important against Gardevoir, right? Because like turning off their Turo basically means that like anything you catch gets like stuck on the board for the whole game, and then you can spread their energy out. Um,
Yeah.
it's really important to be able to have a health tool to protect your Feebas because Feebas unfortunately only has 30 HP, which is the exact amount of damage that a Monkey Dory can do to you.
True.
So you can't let them just like gatekeep your Feebas like on the board. So you have to have a health tool for it. So
Yeah,
Luxcape is
yeah.
like generally the preferred one, but like if you prize that one, it's like nice to have like a other like inoffensive health tool like Bravery Charm, just like have to stick on it. And there's just like a general rule that control players that we operate under, which is that if you're playing Genesect, um, which is the one that blocks like Apex, generally you use it to block like Prime Catcher, which is like a really annoying switch. You want to play four
Right.
tools, um, to be like super resistant against pricing and also like find it like naturally often enough. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so you want four
Where you don't have to
tools.
work for it so
Yeah,
much.
you want four tools for your Genesect, and then like we were playing two fans because it's good against Guardy, Pult, and well, it's good against Guardy and Zard. And then the Lux Cape is really good for the Feebas, and then because I don't always want to have Lux Cape as my health tool, but I want to have two health tools for Feebas, then I put in a Bravery Charm. So the Defiance Vest went away, the Shuckle went away. I guess I can talk about why Starground turned into Golduck, and that actually is probably my main regret from the event for the
Mm.
list. We were doing like a bunch of like focus testing, which is like me, the control player, playing the side of the non-controlled deck into the deck, right? So like because like I'm not gonna make as many like mistakes as like a random player on ladder or like someone that doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
understand the deck is. Um, and we kept losing against Donzard when they would do this thing where they would like because we have the side deck to block the Duskulls, right? So it's like fine most of the time. But the Donzard player has this play they can do where they jet a collect key into the active, right? So they can like
Right,
actually
right.
pop all their ghosts. And then they would
Yeah, yeah,
load
yeah.
3 fire energies onto their Zard, and then there's just like way too many fires for me to put out at once, right?
Mm.
Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you only load 2 fire energies onto your Zard, then I can like catch you in like an energy debt with like Turtonator or like LGM.
Yeah.
Specifically, if you only load 2 on your Zard, and I get you with like Gust plus LGM. Now you have like something in the active that can attack, and a Zard on the energy with like one Zard on the bench with 1 energy. And like if you miss that turn, then I just disarm your Zard, and you have like a naked Charizard for the rest of the game, which is like
Yeah.
horrendous.
Because
Um,
Elgyem is from any one Pokemon
yes,
to any
exactly.
other
This this
Pokemon. It
this
doesn't have to be active.
this slight shift attack is like completely broken. It's like one of the most powerful
Yeah.
effects like we have in our deck.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like slightly too slow if they actually manage their energies correctly and go Jet, Klefki, pop Ghosts, 3 energy Zard, and then I have like too many problems to deal with at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
instead, we were playing the
that's what
Golduck.
Stargrunt helps with.
Yeah, Stargrunt
Can
was
get you there in that
it
situation.
was in that slot, but we discovered it was more powerful to put a handheld fan on Golduck because like
Mm,
if they have Duskulls on the board and you have a Golduck on the bench with like a handheld fan, they kind of have to deal with this Golduck. Otherwise, like the Duskulls are like a permanent liability on the board.
yeah.
But if you put a handheld fan on the Golduck, that means that them gusting your Golduck is a boss for one prize that also costs them an energy, and then you can fan them, like you can CC fan them and you get them in the same like 1 energy Zard spot, which is like really really hard for them to deal with. So the Golduck is like really strong against Donzard. But if you look at my matchups, I actually ended up going like 102 into Donzard because like basically what would happen in those ties is they would sack me game one and then sit in like a permanently long, like an extremely long game two, and then we would just tie. But basically every
Mm.
time I actually got into like my like combo or like my like setup, and then I got a Golduck on the board, like the game was over. So it was obviously very strong, but the Donzard players that I played against weren't even doing the 3 energy Zard thing. So it's like, did I actually need this card?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really feel like I felt like most of my choices for the weekend were pretty good. The only like the last like contentious thing we had like right before the weekend was like I was like a little scared of Watchtower because I felt like this was probably going to be like the maximum Watchtower we were ever going to play in this format. Like
Right, right.
because like Donzard is like popular even though it's like obviously about to be exposed as a fraud. Um, and then like random people are going to put Watchtowers in their deck to like deal like
Yeah.
quote unquote deal with Donzard even though
I feel like that's what I would do if I was like
yeah.
unprepared for the tournament, but I wanted to feel smart. I would be like, I'm gonna take a watchtower.
Yeah, the issue with the Watchtower is you actually need to play it in a deck with Iono, because if you don't, then like this Watchtower doesn't do anything, right? Because they just have the cards in their hand. You need to like stick this Watchtower on the Donzard and then Iono them, right? So if you're not already a deck that's playing Iono, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Like I saw a bunch of like
Yeah.
Goldengo lists with Donzard with like Watchtowers in it. I'm like, this is never gonna work, right? Like they're just gonna like continue to make Charizards and like kill your active over and over again, right? Like you can't stick this Watchtower on them. And also, if they know about the Watchtower, then like in game two they can pre-search it. But anyway, I didn't want to really get like really messed up by like a random person just like playing a Watchtower, so I like played like one Artisan in my deck. And it did come up like once or twice. Like we can talk about that, I guess, like during like match recaps. But like it wasn't like that hard to find. I think the contention is that like if your Pidgeot is shut off by Watchtower, it's like hard to find your stadium. But I have these like Cypher Maniac cards in my deck, which lets me like stack my deck with whatever I want, and then I can draw into them with my Fez,
Yeah.
or just like wait one turn and then top deck. So
Right, right.
yeah, I felt like pretty good about the list in general. Maybe if I was gonna go back, I would just cut the Golduck for a Star Grunt, uh,
Hmm.
or like another Flute or something, just like a general like good card in our deck. But yeah, I mean like I play like pretty thick counts of like a lot of like the power cards in our deck, I guess, like Palpad. Um, I play two stretchers. A lot of decks are only playing one. Um, and I thought about playing two flutes, but I couldn't find a space for it. But yeah, I felt pretty good about the list in general. I think it like came together, and generally most of my choices were rewarded. I think so.
Yeah. For someone like looking to pick this up, what's the what's the basic outline? If it's like your first day in control.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. So I like to think about control like as not that different from a normal deck. Like
Yeah.
people I think overcomplicate this. I think I've actually told you this before, David, where people overcomplicate control. They're like, oh my god, like there's so many like win conditions and like I have to know all my opponents, like their whole deck list and like all their outs. But
Yeah.
really, control is a lot more similar to other Pokemon card game like decks than people think. Um,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
normal Pokemon deck, your like objective is to set up like 3 to 4 attackers and then like take 3 to 4 knockouts, right?
Right.
It's the same with control. We set up 3 to 4 knockouts and then we tax resource. We set up 3 to 4 attackers and then we tax their resources like 3 to 4 times, right? Like
Right, right.
either gust or like energy attachments or things like that. Specifically those two. because like you see like the main attackers I'm using in my deck are like Turtonator, LGM, Sudowoodo, Nacli.
Right,
So
right.
it's like two energy denial like attackers, two retreat lockers. So it's just like instead of me going like boss knockout, boss knockout, boss knockout, I just go like boss trap, boss trap, boss trap, and then you're out of
Right,
switches and I
right.
win the game, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess like the idea is to just like know whether it's an energy denial matchup or a retreat lock matchup, and then play toward that, right? And then like know how you're gonna like actually run them out of stuff.
Right, right.
I guess one question I have.
Yeah.
So I see the redeemable ticket in the list. Uh, this list has a lot of one-ups. How do you go about managing prizes in this?
Yeah, so I mean, the redeemable ticket, we obviously have to play it, right?
Yeah,
Because like there are matchups that you need, like you say, like you need the melodic and the melodics and the prizes, then you're gonna have to play the ticket to get the melodic out, right? Or stuff like that. Or like there are situations where like you need like Zarosic and Iona to finish the game, and one of them is in the prizes. Obviously, like there are like higher priority things. Like sometimes, like one game, I prized double Pidgeot, so I was like, all right, I just have to rip this ticket and hope like nothing goes in there. But generally, the
Mm-hmm.
less you can kind of like rank things on like how important they are to have early, and it's like then if it's you have something important that you need early, then you have to rip the ticket to go get it. Um, but there are like other things that are like less important to have throughout the game. Like obviously you don't need the Iono until the end, or like you don't really need the Zerosic until the end. So a lot of the time, because you're playing Pidgeot, you're gonna have like a lot of free turns where like you just like you draw, you say impound, and you have like a quick search to do whatever you want. Um,
Right.
a lot of the time during these turns, it's like really important to just like be like quick searching in your deck and then grabbing a good card that you don't want to go into the prizes and putting it in your hand, right? And then like at a certain point, when you have all the good stuff in your hand, then you play the ticket, and then all the like the random stuff or like the extra copies,
Yeah.
your second candy or like irrelevant attackers or like supports that don't matter, like those go into the prizes, and the important stuff comes out, and then like you should be like in a perfect spot. So like obviously
Mm-hmm.
this like thing takes like a it takes like practice to use. And there's some like cool stuff you can do with like Cipher to like cipher bad stuff on top of the deck and then pull the ticket. Um,
Ah.
but we have to play this card, and it's just like important to kind of just like know how to use it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I tried the ticket briefly in GLC. I think there's a case for it, but my philosophy of GLC is changing where I'm trying to get the like bad cards out first, like all the balls and all the stuff that like kind of thins, and then by the end of the game when I'm really drawn, I'm like drawn into the gas.
Gotcha.
Ticket wasn't really working for me.
Gotcha. I mean, that's I don't. Obviously, we know I don't play a lot of GLC, but like that format also has like stronger prize manipulation. I think like stuff like
Yeah.
Peonia and Gladion, where you can actually just like go get important stuff out of the prizes, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and you can like hand pick what you get the Hisuian
yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah. Like
You can hand pick what goes
your
back in. It's
agency in
crazy.
that like matter is like a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, we play the ticket because we have to. Like, I like obviously like, prizing melodic or like prizing double Pidgeot would be like kind of annoying, and like kind of it's like kind of annoying. But like if I could play heavy ball, I probably just would play heavy ball. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, right on. Um, hold on, let me pull up the docket.
I think we're
Do we want to talk matchups in more detail?
yeah, sure.
I feel like we kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, you guys probably want to go like generally through like the big four, right? Like, cause like obviously that's like at Toronto,
Yeah.
the big four decks, Gardevoir, Dragapult, Golden Go, and Charizard made up like 75% of the room. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to hear what you were saying about this because, like, you mentioned before that, it's like a pretty centralized meta, which is good for control, of course, but you think that the matchups are like very skill expressive, and it's kind of like a good format for that,
yeah, I think playing the format is really fun right now because like a lot of these
even if it's
matchups,
big four.
yes, specifically playing, I think playing the big four decks against each other, like almost all of those matchups are like pretty fun.
Mm.
Um, assuming like both players like draw reasonably and get to play the game. Uh, like there's just like a lot of like minutia and like intricacy. Like I was like explaining to someone that like this like Gardevoir versus Dragapult matchup is like obviously like it's pretty scary. But it's like scary for both sides, right? Because like Dragapult can like wipe the whole Ralts family, but then the
Right.
Ralts like the Gardevoir player like still has like a lot of counterplay to like make this like work. Like you can like you can like CC Mind Bend, you can like CC like Frillish, you can like just like immediately Evo like throttle your stuff back and Evo again, and then try to get them on the prize trade at the end. Um, and then like on the other side, like the pulp players are always like crying about like when the Gardevoir goes up, the game is like really cooked. But like you can still like get them, like you can pressure them. Sometimes they won't have enough energy, so you can kind of just like gust their Gardevoir up and like punch it for free, and then like pressure the next like backup Ralts.
Mm.
Um, so like I think like a lot of the matchups right now are like there's like a lot that can go wrong on both sides, which like makes them a lot more like interesting and dynamic than people I think are like giving the format credit for. Um, Obviously, I would like love if they deleted this like Goldengo deck. But even that one, like the
Yeah.
Gardevoir matchups into that one are like kind of cool. Like there's like they check you like pretty hard on your resource management.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think it's healthy too to have like beat sticks.
Yeah, this Goldengo beat stick is like a little too strong. I think like maybe it like shouldn't
Yeah.
draw an extra card in the active, or like
Yeah,
maybe it
yeah.
should do like 10 less damage or something like that. Um, But like in general, I feel like the matchups between the big four are like pretty like skill intensive matchups that like can like swing both ways. Um, so I don't really have like an issue with the format. And then like from the control side, obviously like knowing that like 75, I have like a 75% chance to hit one of the matchups I want to like every round is like really good. Like I feel like great about that. And I
Mm.
think if you look at like the matchups that I hit, I only went outside big four like 3 times, and I went 2-1
Yeah.
into those, and I probably should have gone 3-0 if I was a better player. So wasn't too upset to see any of those matchups, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was interesting to see all the post tournament results and how centralized, especially the day two field was around these big four decks. Uh, and clearly that reflected in your tournament. Uh, I guess a question I have for you is, do you think there are any decks outside of control that can contend with the big four right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Zorak deck that Liam cooked up had like generally good success against the field. Like obviously, like it's a difficult deck to play, so like only like the good players on Zorak like actually were able to convert. Um,
Keva was on Zoroark, I assume?
yeah, Kevin had like an
Let's
okay day too.
go.
I think it was
Let's
their first
go.
one, so congrats to them. So Zorak is like an okay spot. And like you see like some like just like random decks like sprinkled throughout like the top like 64 and like 128. Like I think you'll like if you like scroll you'll like see like a Sarah Ledge. There's like a Maridon. There's a Tank Kang that I lost to in round 14. Um,
Mm.
so I think there's like room to play. But a lot of the time when you're like locking in one of these like these decks outside the four, you're kind of just like committing yourself to like have to generally do more work to like have like similar results, right? Because like your deck is like probably not as strong, and then like you also like don't have as much like help on your list, right? As like obviously like if I wanted to play Gardevoir this weekend, I would just copy exactly what Henry told me to play and like never ever change a card. Um, Whereas like with this control deck, like it's just like me and Blitzel arguing in DMs about like whether we care about Watchtower. And
Right, right.
there's like it could actually go the other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I think like other decks can exist. But like a lot of the time, like you got to question like I paid $80 for this registration. I have like my travel, and I was like, is it really worth like just like thinking I'm smarter than other people, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess that's like funny coming from me because I played a control deck, but like I felt pretty good about this one, so I thought it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean having that slight shift to just bonk all their energies around, having the retreat lock mode, it seems like and blocking the Turas with the Milotic
Yeah,
seems super strong.
no, for sure. I mean, I can explain real quick, like I guess go through all the big four matchups like really fast. First one, let's say Goldengo is like the most popular one. You just want to wait for like them to either have to bench the rocks or the Goldengo, the Genesect to play the game. Um, and then you basically lock anything that's not a Golden Go in the active, and then corner it with Nacli with like the Melodic and the Genesect down, so they can't get out of the active. And because you only do 10 damage a turn, you can hold them in the active for like a really long time. At one point, I was playing a picnic basket in this list, so I can buy I could buy like
That's crazy. Yeah.
3, 6, 9, 12 more turns, like based on like how many things I had like sequentially trapped.
Right, right. Because
Um,
you could spread it around and max out your
Exactly. You get
picnic
like max
basket
picnic
value.
best, but the card just like wasn't good enough, so it ended up being cut. But generally, like Golden Go is like a deck out matchup, and then obviously sometimes like you can just like rip the Zerosic on their hand, and then you watch them discard like a whole bunch of superiors and energies, and you realize they actually can't close the game. But this is like an obvious like retreat lock matchup, catching the liabilities and like just like holding them in the active so they can't use their like main attacker. So
Yeah.
that's Goldengo. Second most popular deck I think was Pult. This matchup has historically been like really really bad for control before Psyduck because what the Pult player could do is sit there itchy pollinating you, like deny you your Pidgeot, and then like if you eventually do get to their Pidgeot, they can like hit you with like counter catcher, Dust Nor, Phantom Dive, and like blow up your board. But the existence of Psyduck now means that all these ghosts are like liabilities, and like they're actually like not really allowed to have them. So their deck is working a lot worse. There's a lot more dead cards in there, and then the LGM and the Turtonator, because they play such limited energy, and you can actually block and deny one of the energy, like the Neo Upper, with the Genesect. They actually have like a
Right.
very limited amount of energy, and
Oh,
because
right,
these
right.
decks are like low on Night Stretchers now, they're down from 4 to like mostly 2. Like you can like very swiftly run them out of energy. So
Yeah.
if they're trying to do you, you like and attach to like a Dracloak, then you like LGM that energy onto the Badoo, and then the Badoo has like an energy on it. And because it has free retreat, they can never get that energy back, right? It's like stuck there until they
Right,
like
right.
unless they like turn it or something else. Um, and then the Turtonator's in there like A to protect against prizing, but B because the Turtonator, if they try to go into like a solo Dragapult board, the LGM won't have anything to move energies onto them. So you can just turret the energies off the Dragapult over and over and over again. And also, Turtonator
Right, right.
doesn't die to Jet Headbutt. So when you get to the stage where they actually only can attach one energy per turn, then you can just like Turtonator, tank the Jet Headbutt, Penny, Turtonator again, and then like they're gonna run out of energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, that's how that matchup goes. So I did Dengo, I did Paul, Guardy. We have two fighting type retreat lockers, and Guardy has a bunch of liabilities in their deck that like are not able to progress the game. Like Mew is obviously like the easiest one to trap because if you're trapping a Mew, they have to load 3 energies on it to genome hacking for like 20 damage, which is just like completely
Right.
like it's completely cooked. And obviously
Yeah.
you want to establish the melodic so they can't Turo it. They play one Turo, but they like it's hard for them to find, and they don't draw that many cards. So you want to trap like a liability in the active, and also, the Monkey Dories also don't really do enough damage to progress the game. So like you can get the Mew, you can get the Monkey Dories, and if it's not Jellicent, you can also get the Frillish because the Frillish also doesn't do enough damage to like scare you. Um, so yeah, that's like a retreat lock matchup, and then the Charizard matchup that I mentioned earlier, you kind of just want to get them an energy debt because they can accelerate 3, but they need 2 to attack, and then sometimes they use 1 to retreat, or they'll just like put the other one like somewhere random. So you kind of just want to disarm the Charizard and like make sure that they don't have enough like gas to close the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 2 energy denial matchups, 2 retreat lock matchups, and I think you like the support Pokemon slash like attackers that you can see in my list are like reflective of that.
Yeah. That's something too I noticed in GLC, like certain matchups you're always kind of prioritizing different resources. Um, like some matchups are like hit their energies, maybe flare grunt them a bunch of times, or uh, other matchups just like gust trap them like 3 times and they're cooked or something like that. Uh,
Yeah, no, for sure. I think like
yeah,
as much as I like make fun of GLC, like I feel like GLC control is probably the closest to standard control, like compared to like GLC beat sticks, like versus standard beat sticks, because like there's so many
mm.
like I obviously have a lot of one ofs, and then you obviously have a lot of one ofs, right? Like so it's like
Yeah. I
having
mean, this deck does kind of look like a GLC deck to
yeah,
be
like
sure.
having cards that cover similar purposes is like pretty good. Like sometimes like obviously like Turtonator is like not quite as good as LGM in a lot of spots, but like if you prize the LGM, you have to use the Turtonator. It's like not the end of the world. Um, Nacli's like a little smaller than Sudowoodo, but like if you have to use the Nacli against Gardevoir, it's fine, you know. So
Yeah.
like cards
Yeah,
that
and
cover same slots are pretty good.
for as much junk as there is in GLC and like random BS that grease me all the time, there's really only like 12 real decks, and like
Yeah, and they probably play like
they're
similar, pretty
that's pretty
similar.
known
Yeah,
quality.
yeah.
Yeah. Known quantity, excuse me. Yeah.
So going back to your matchups, as you've mentioned a couple of times, of your 15 rounds, I think 12 of them were against the big four. Do you think?
14 rounds, and I played 11 against like standard Big Four matchups. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I counted wrong. Uh, do you think like a centralized meta now is easier to build control around? Or I guess as a counterexample, the brilliant stars to whatever Paldean Fates when Pidgeot control was also very hurtful, where the meta was a lot more spread out. Do you think a wide meta or a more condensed meta might be easier to build control around? Or is it just purely based on the card pool available?
I think it depends. So I think specifically like bringing up like the BRS like the Brilliant Stars like Pidgeot like the last time I played Pidgeot, that deck was like extremely powerful, right? Like in general, like it would set up Pidgeot so easily because you would just like Rotom, Steel Stone, like Candy Pidgeot, and then like do whatever you wanted. Um, so the deck was like really strong, and then this Luxray card was like so good into like every matchup, right? Like a ton of decks like can't kill a Luxray like really fast. So if you set up fast and you start Luxray in their hand and like hit something important, like the game can end like super fast.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that deck had like a lot more raw power than like people like remember, because of like how quickly you can establish Pidgeot and of like obviously like how good your general cards were into the meta. So you had like you didn't have to spend as much space on tech because like Luxray, Pidgeot, Blood Moon were like generally just gonna like wipe like a ton of the decks in the format. Like um obviously we obviously had to like tech pretty hard for like Drago, and then like we like kind of took like a suspect matchup in a Guardy, but like that Pidgeot deck was so strong that like it didn't matter that the meta was wide. Like the power level of my deck was like just good enough to get it done a lot of the time, right?
Mm.
Um, so that meta was wide, but Pidgeot was good because Pidgeot was really strong. Modern Pidgeot is obviously a lot weaker than that, right? You like see I have these like stupid like Brock cards in my deck and like a bunch of like random stuff to deal with like uh,
Pidgeotto.
item lock. Yeah, exactly. The deck's like not as good. Kangaskhan is not as good as Rotom. Um,
Right.
and my retreat lockers are not as good because they require like type resistances, and they're like a lot smaller, right? Like in the past we would use like Wellspring Ogerpon DTE, and I have like this 210 HP thing that does no damage, right? Which is like infinite lock.
Mm.
Um, so like my deck is like not as strong, but obviously like the rest of the meta is also not as strong as it was back then. Um, but like when we talked about matchups earlier, you kind of noticed that like out of the big four, two of them have the same game plan, and two of them have the other have like a similar game plan. So it's like I
Yeah.
don't need that much tech to cover 75% of the meta, so that I can like
Right.
focus on
Right.
like making my deck like more consistent, and like I can focus on making my deck more consistent because I need less tech cards to cover the same percentage of stuff. That makes sense, right? So
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
general, when the meta is wide, it's harder, especially if the wide meta requires more tech to beat other stuff, right? Like yeah, like there are like fringe decks like Grimmsnarl's like a pretty bad matchup right now. But that's like a really small percentage deck. Like Zorak with their double Watchtower is like a pretty bad matchup. Um, but like I'm comfortable taking those like bad matchups because I get to spend so much of my space on having like a decent consistent deck with like less tech into the like the vast majority of what I expect to hit. Yeah, I hope that
Yeah.
answers
Yeah.
your question. I don't know if it got there or not.
Yeah, I think it's an
The answer is
interesting
it
point
depends.
because I think so much of a deck or what can be viable in something that is like I guess counter meta uh, is really like what is in the card pool at the time. Because I know like after rotation, last year. Pidgeot control like struggled for I guess a couple sets afterwards. Um, Cause I've lost so much compared to I guess everything else.
Yeah,
Um,
and the Dragonfall matchup was really bad. I'll
yeah,
admit it. Like the Poltnor matchup was like really bad. I maybe could have like just like grown some courage and like played it like and just like said like whatever, I'm gonna lose to Poltnor at some tournaments, but yeah, the number one deck like being just like like a 2080
Right.
was like really scary.
yeah, and I guess like going back on that, like just one or two cards, the Psyduck and the Golduck. Well, I guess like maybe doesn't fix the matchup, but it is like something in the card pool that now there's an option to that it didn't have before.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah,
I had like
exactly.
this kind of theory that like control or like these counter meta tend to be like way stronger uh right before rotation happens, whenever the card pool is the widest. Because so much of it is like you need these tools
Hmm.
to like make these decks work.
They kind of need to like stack up in a way.
Yeah, you need to have enough like things to beat what's going on in the meta right now, and it's like if you those cards don't exist, like when people were
Right.
just allowed to pop Dustnors on me all the time, like I was not having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the Psyduck card, like, so I guess like we can go a little farther back. Like Psyduck released a Mega Evolution, which was like right around Milwaukee. But I was like tinkering with control decks before then, and the Pulp matchup was actually like not terrible when LGM came out because you could aggressively
Mm.
chase their energies, and then they would like not be able to get into the pop off play.
Right. Right.
Um, it would be a lot harder for them to get into the pop up play. But because they still had access to the Dustnor, they could like pop their Dustnor on your Genesect, get their Neo Upper, and then like try to run you off the board. Um, but Psyduck existing like slows down the pace of the game a lot, and then puts a lot of like blank cards or like I guess mines in their deck that they're not really allowed to put down. Um, so it like slowed down the pace of that matchup a lot, and it like honestly flipped it from like something I like don't like to see to something I'm like trying to hit at majors.
Right. Right. I love Elgin. I gotta say that Pokemon is so cute, and that card they cooked on that full art.
Yeah, I don't play four arts in my decks, four art Pokemon in my decks. You look at my deck list, you can see that I'm playing like a lot of four art like supporters because I think it's like optimal in Pidgeot. Um,
Yeah.
but I really like that LGMR, and I think like maybe I'm gonna go get a copy, even if not to play in a deck, to just like have one because I think I like it. It's a cool guy, LGM.
Yeah. Almost certainly. If you had to, if you had to pick a card or maybe two cards or however many you want from the list that was like uh your favorite or like if you had any, did you have any like pet cards in here?
Um, well, we can consider the Artisan my pet card because like Blitzel really didn't want to play a Stadium Bump and respect Watchtower, but I was like, I'm not losing to random Watchtower, so the Artisan's in
Yeah.
there. Um, cards I feel really good about in general. I think obviously like Latias like carries like a ton of weight in this deck, like just being able to like switch between your attackers and also like being able to push this Kang for free to draw like multiple cards at the beginning of the game is really good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean like I feel
You
like
were
I
talking about the
want yeah.
ciphers too.
Oh, true, true. Okay, I actually we probably just need to like talk about the ciphers in general. This deck normally plays four Arvins and then like 3 to 4 copies of Brock. Um, but because there's like a decent amount of non-Pidgeot draw or a non-Pidgeot engine in the deck, like the Kang and the Fez, um, there are board states where like finding a Cipher instead of a Brock, because obviously you want to play Arvin on turn one to like play your trolley and then get like going.
Yeah.
Um, and Brock is okay too because Brock gets Latias Kang and draws you cards. Um, but there are a lot of boards like where you start the Kang or are able to find the Kang early, and then you can either cipher for Candy Pidgeot or you can just like cipher for the combo that you need to like create the start the like aggressive lock the next turn.
Mm.
So the ciphers like felt like very powerful in the deck and like we were able to squeeze like 2 spots out to like make ciphers to like make our deck work really well, right? Because like being able to play the game
Yeah,
without
because it's
Pidgeot
it's
is really
almost
good.
like five, like a fifth and sixth Arvin, in the way
Yeah,
that if you start the game with just that and a Kang, you
yeah. So
can still like
you can cipher for
get your
trolley.
trolley.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right.
So it was like almost like more outs to trolley, and then obviously like it's like very strong if you have the Kang or the Fez going.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the ciphers were definitely really good. I felt like pretty good about that card. I'll give a reverse shout out to Flute. I feel like Flute griefed me all weekend. Like there are multiple Guardy
Reverse
games.
shout out.
There are multiple Guardy games where like I know their deck is full of like trappables, and I rip this Flute and I hit like a Ralts. I'm like, all right, dude, like what is this? Like, I like.
Grief by the
Yeah.
flute.
There's like not that many. Flu was pretty good against Raging Bolt, but like I honestly like I played versions of this deck with no Flute, um, and I maybe could have gotten away with it. So
In GLC, we can rip basics from hand on an item with Pokepuff, and we can also hit target whistle to bring basics back from discard.
oh,
Um,
speaking of that, I like the echoing
it's
horn
nice.
effect. There's another melodic that has the ability Lifeboat on it. I don't know if I've shown you this card before, but basically what it does is when
Mm,
it evolves from Feebas into melodic, both players have to put a basic from their discard onto their bench. And because a lot of the time when people are playing against control, they'll try to discard the bad Pokemon. Their discard
right.
pile will be full of terrible Pokemon, and then it's like they just like have to put a bad one on there for you. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we tested it, but it was too much deck space. But it was actually pretty
Yeah.
impressive trying to play around like Erica Flute and Melodic at the same time. You kind of just like have to like leave your guys in the deck and pray because if they're in your hand, I'm gonna get them, and if they're in the discard, I'm definitely gonna get them. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Also Luxcape, pretty good card. Obviously, like I saw a lot of success in Gardevoir this weekend, but you can use it to like protect stuff. It's pretty good at melodic a lot of the time. Also, you can put the Lux Cape on Nacli when you're trapping a rock, and then you buy like 2 or 3 turns to just like sit there and tank Lunatone hits before you have to penny it, which is like good on like not stretching your resources.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The list is inspiring, I gotta say.
it's one of the cleaner builds. I don't know if you how like often you like look at control decks, but like it's actually like honestly a miracle that I got this to fit like in like a 40
A
card block.
playable.
Yeah,
Right, right.
you don't have to scroll at all. It's like
You don't have to scroll, yeah.
you don't have to scroll. Like it's like pretty clean looking. Um,
After playing a ton of GLC, like I look at the standard decks now sometimes, I'm like, there's like 20 cards in here. How do you even, what are
yeah,
you even doing? It's like they're like half your deck is like Nest Ball, Ultra Ball. It's like, bro,
yeah, it's pretty nice. Your deck is
just go
consistent.
like, go get the Pulse or whatever. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's ahead? What are you looking forward to? Maybe I mean, this weekend it's gonna be like polar vortex or whatever. So
Yeah, it's gonna be super cold.
maybe not
I'm
this weekend, but like these coming weeks, or perhaps the rest of the season.
yeah. So I guess locally this weekend there's a expanded tournament that I would like to go to if it's not too cold. I like playing expanded. I think it's fun to just like play like completely broken decks against each other.
Yeah.
People like to complain about Reggie Drago, but I actually like that deck and I like playing against it, so I think it's fine. And then there's a challenge on Sunday, but I am done with my challenges, like my challenge finishes, so I'm kind of allowed to play whatever I want. So we'll see if I we'll see if I play something serious or not. I probably won't. I'm definitely not playing this to a challenge. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I still have 2 cups left to win if I would like to max my locals. So I'll keep an eye out for those like in the area. I don't think there's like one like in the next couple weeks. So nothing really on that front. And then major wise, I've registered for Seattle and at the end of February, and I just
Hey,
registered for Houston earlier
hey.
tonight. So hoping to go to those. Those are both pre-rotation, so Pidgeot will be legal, and then definitely on the short list of decks.
Very good. Kenneth fan's gonna be eating.
Real. Molar Raider,
I mean,
Molar Raider Nation, rise up.
Yeah. Moles. I know there's some moles watching the podcast right now.
Is there
If
a
you're a
mole
mole and
emoji?
you're watching the podcast right now, get in the comments and drop me some mole emojis.
A shocking amount of you actually like listening to me talk, even though it's like mostly yap.
I don't think there's a mole
Yeah.
emoji.
No, I don't think there is
Well,
either. It's not a super popular animal.
You never
I was
know.
bragging earlier, you're like definitely the most accomplished player I know.
Maybe you should try to meet some more players.
Well, I've met a few, but I'm not like friends with them really.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah. No, no, I'm happy to be your number one, but I'm gonna try to do better. Do better for you if I have to be number one.
Nah, it's all good. Fans, I'm ride or die. Results, I don't care. We same 16. Yeah. You getting into GLC or what?
I
What do
think
we need
what?
to do to pull you in?
I think what?
We literally have Excadrill control.
I might take a look at that. I don't know. I just like feel like a lot of the time like when I show up to the shop and everyone's like playing GLC, I'm like I don't want to play that. Like I'd rather play like literally anything else.
Yeah.
So
That's fair enough,
well, yeah,
honestly.
yeah. It's just like the format doesn't like appeal to me that much. I feel like there's like too much,
Yeah, yeah.
and like some people take it like kind of seriously too. So like I feel like it'd be like
Yeah.
I might have to do a little sweating if I actually wanted to like compete the way I would like to. So I kind of
Right,
just
right.
like keep my hands out right now.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard there's like more variants than probably your average standard format, and I feel like that's kind of a blessing and kind of a curse.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I respect what's going on there over there, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna cross the fence.
Yeah. You're into some retro though.
That's true. I do really like playing retro. My favorite format is 2010, if anyone was wondering,
Mm,
because that's when I was 12 years old and started playing like Pokemon games
true.
and collecting cards. So being able to like grab my box of cards from my parents' house and like actually like get some value out of them was like pretty cool. So and that format is really
Yeah.
good. So
Are you thinking about becoming an RSPKer?
that format is like pretty complicated and like kind of expensive. I have two 2006 decks that I could maybe like repurpose for parts. Um, but yeah, I'm not like super big into like the online retro tournament gaming that a lot of people like to do. I feel like playing with the cards like with your friends is just like way superior to that. So I don't have like a ton of experience
Yeah.
like playing playing retro formats I don't have decks for. So I guess it's the same answer as the GLC question, which is like TBD.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. I kind of hate like simulators. Like I'll play them, but I'd really, really prefer to like shuffle actual cards.
Yeah,
Feels
no,
way better.
exactly. Like especially with like TCG one, like people being like really into that one. I'm like, that's like okay, but like if I'm gonna be playing Pokemon on my computer, I should probably just be practicing standard. Um, it's my plug for
Yeah, yeah,
everyone to play more live ladder, right? Like I play a ton of live ladder, and I feel like it always makes me better. Like the when you're like high up in ladder, you're like hitting people that you know or like people that you've heard of, which is like really good.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the TCG one thing is just like I'm on my computer already and I'm trying to play poke. Like I should probably be playing ladder.
See, I'm the opposite because I'm a TCG1 fiend. I think like I I'm in my RSPK training arc right now for the Seattle.
Oh, you're
There's
getting ready for
one
that?
on
Hell yeah.
Sunday, and
Ooh,
I've been like
Sunday.
grinding matches. I'm thinking about changing my flights just so I can stay for the entire tournament.
You can be locked in.
But the issue I'm running into is I kind of want to play with real cards instead of just proxying the deck.
So you
But
just like have like a
Oh,
$500 like incoming bill.
yeah, either that or I have to go to Evan and Adam and be like, hey, can I borrow your Rayquaza EX? Um, I think I'm like the deck I kind of want to play is on the cheaper side. Um, I'm thinking about playing
Are you
Camler,
leaking?
Camerupt, and then Stantler. So I guess like for
Camera.
people who don't know, the Stantler, it has two attacks. The first one is Confuse Ray, which is just super annoying. Confusing is like one of the most annoying status conditions. And then the second attack is Push Away, 20 for 2 energy. You look at your opponent's hand and just discard a trainer.
Sandler's
Uh,
Luxray, which is like an extremely broken card. Um, I think it's
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Luxray can take non-trainers too, but like Stanler is basically Luxray, which is like broken. So
yeah,
obviously this card is disgusting in like retro formats.
and it's just like,
Yeah, and he thick, right?
so second,
He thick.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's pretty big. He's like a really big basic.
it's like, it's an annoying HP to knock out.
Yeah, it's like a commitment to take out. I mean, it's basically the same idea as like Luxray, right? Like 210 was like pretty annoying to hit, so it's like this thing is sitting in the active and ripping your hand. Like, you have to do something about it.
Well, in RSPK, there's not a lot of things that are just one hit KOing each other very easily.
Yeah, the
Um,
damage thresholds are a lot lower.
yeah. So it's like HP is lower, so there's nothing that's like super insane tanky on like a single prizer. And things are also doing like less damage in general. But like doing 20 damage and just keep on pressing it is like there's sometimes where you can just rip off like a key card and you win the game like over a couple turns. Like if you just keep on ripping those cards out, you get to a point where they're like they don't have much of an answer. And that's where camera comes in because its first attack is back burner where you take 2 fire energy from your discard and attach it anywhere. So you can power up more Stantlers or you power up more Camerups. And the Camerup's second attack is 3. I think it's like 1 fire, 2
It's like
colorless.
split bomb, right? It's like does like
Yeah,
spread damage. So you just like start once you like strip them of all their stuff, you like make like an army of Camerups and you just like clean their house.
yeah. And it's like, it's kind of just like an annoying degenerate spread deck at the end because you're also playing Desert Ruins, which is like one damage
Yeah,
counter
yeah.
on
Right.
It's
every,
Froslass.
yeah, on a stadium.
On the EXs, right?
Yep. Pokebodies.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Pokeballs.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah. But the idea is you just create like a board state where your opponent can't progress anymore, and then you just like wear them down with a ton of spread damage, right? Like,
yeah, and there's also like some games where if you just like start the nuts on Camerupt, you can just like put on so much pressure with Split Bomb where they don't really like have that many answers to it.
Mm.
Um, but like RSPK is pretty wide. I think like a lot of the top players have all like if they want to win the tournaments because with like these retro Mickeys, there's like two kinds of players. There's like the spikes that are playing like the BDIF, and all of them are on Rayler right now, Rayquaza and Stantler. Because I think
Sandler.
that people
Yeah,
are
same
agreeing
same
like
idea.
Stantler, because you also have like there's a lot of like degenerate stuff you can also do on top of Stantler because you can put like Cessation Crystal, which is like ability lock on a tool. Uh, you kind of have like a pseudo field blower with like Windstorm. It like the card pool in RSPK is so wide where there is like this arms race where it's like a deck gets really degenerate and people start teching and stuff, and then another deck will get degenerate. Um, but there's no like super tier zero. Railer is what the sweats are on, but then you have like the inmates at Arkham Asylum that are playing like the craziest stuff ever on ladder. Well, it's like not ladder. It's just like solo queue.
Right,
Uh,
right. It's just like click the. It's like open lobby, right?
yeah, like you can go in
You
there.
just kind of jump in. Yeah.
And sometimes I'll,
Get it rocking with James G.
yeah, I'll queue on like TCG one, and I'll just like keep on rematching the same person because we're the only two people online who want to play RSPK. And it gets to a point where it's like one of us has got to hop on a different deck because we cannot
Right,
be
right.
playing Camler versus Explode matches for 2 hours because these games do go long because both players
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
taking their full six prizes. And if neither player has like an EX, you have to knock out six Pokemon or bench somebody out. So
Yeah.
like it's a it's a grown man format also. I feel like everybody on TCG one, someone at the TCG one has like a global chat, like it's Clash of Clans, and somebody was like, if you play a format that starts with a 200, you're an Unk. And I was like, if you're on TCG one, you're an Unk. This is only Pokeboomers on this website.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. I would only. I think I would only be interested in playing like it's gotta be real retro if I'm going on TCG one. I
Ah,
better have zero of those cards in the bulk, you know.
dude, touching old cards is so much fun. I feel like the experience of playing on TCG One is so much worse than like touching my old cards instead. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just can't get behind it. I don't know. I guess if I like commit to playing like some retro tournament, I probably would have to practice on there. But maybe I would just even practice IRL. Who's to say?
Yeah,
I'm trying to cook 2011 Control to someday
that's
Dude, I do
just
not like that
grief the
format.
2011
That is
players.
not a good format.
2011 has
Exactly.
control. That's like
I do
We gotta
not.
put it to bed.
that's what the truth is essentially. It's just like control in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many broken cards,
Yes, that's why the format is like low key degenerate. It is like
but like, yeah. And like I feel like the good decks are like low key kind of bad.
yes,
I don't know.
2011.
Like I play the Reshi Ram Typhlosion, Ninetales, and it's like this is a lot to set up. Um, and like suffers a lot from its counters and stuff, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think 2011 might be the worst decks that have won worlds.
Yeah.
Like it's up there
Dude,
as
we were
like
playing that stupid one with the Yon Megas, and I was like, how did people play this for a whole season? Like, what are we doing?
well they did
Yon
This deck is
micro
Mega's tough.
CC.
Yon
so
Mega's tough to cope
bad.
with.
2011 was like
Oh,
Evan
I
was
played
griefing me
Judge.
with that. I
Oh,
was
I
just
do
like,
50
oh my
damage.
god.
Oh. Nah, I played one game of that format. I was like, I'm not playing this format again unless I have to. Like,
well
that was not fun.
those decks like immediately got power creeped. It was like two sets after and nobody was playing 5 time.
True.
And it's like
Yeah, once the EXs came out.
yeah, once people were like, "Oh shit, I can actually like attach double colorless to a basic and like nuke active."
Right, right.
I some of the primes that see like play, but like I don't know. I do stand by that those are maybe some of the worst decks to have ever won a world championship, or like the worst decks to ever be like meta after like I don't know 2004 on at least like competently built. Mega Dino might actually be the worst deck to ever win worlds, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
any other thoughts?
Anything else to cover? Do we want to talk
Uh,
Ascended? You said no, no future formats.
yeah, I
You're
don't really
banned.
want to do rotate. I'm definitely not doing rotation. That is like such a waste of time. Like, actually, if I can get like soapbox for like a minute here, real quick, just like
Yeah. This
Pokemon
is what we
players
want.
need to stop caring about rotation. Like, I see these questions in the Discord server all the time. They're like, "Will my deck still be good after rotation?" The answer is nobody knows. Like, it does not matter. What if you just spent your time and mental energy on the deck that you're playing in the present and have fun playing that? Like, these
Yeah.
decks are not that expensive. We have a lot of people with a lot of cards. Like, if you need a deck at any point, you can probably just get one crowdsourced, right? So it's like we are wasting so much collective mental energy on being like, I wonder what my deck is going to be like after rotation. I need to pick a rotation-proof deck. It's like, no, bro, no, dude. Play the Pokemon TCG in the month of January 2026. Like that, you have way more fun and like get a lot more value out of your time. Yeah, that's my thoughts on
Oh, that's
rotation.
real.
It'll happen when it happens. Like, let's
Type
just
shit.
let's stop. Let's just stop doing what we're doing.
That's how I felt too this rotation. I was like really unaware of how it would affect things and like I don't know. I think it kind of felt like nobody had the answer until the rotation happened and like people just started like actually grinding some games or it's like okay, how do we build like a Dragapult deck or how do we build like a Gardevoir deck now?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, the game will change and then you will adapt. So
We
you're
definitely
gonna be
don't
fine.
put Regidrago in the deck.
You cannot put Regidrago in the deck.
We got to start somewhere else. We got to start with Dreepy, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Now, I mean, that's my spiel on rotation talk. I just like don't think it's like very worthwhile a lot of the time because like it's not like the fidelity I think of it is like pretty low in terms of like how accurate it will be, and then
Yeah.
like it's just like a waste
There's
of
like two more
energy
sets too.
because like I promise you that like your time and effort is better spent on like becoming better at current standard because those skills transfer too, right? Like you being good at like Pokemon cards like in the present
Right,
is
right.
like the best skill that you can develop, and then that's like being good at Pokemon cards will like help you after like you need to adapt to rotation. So yeah. Was there like an Ascended Heroes set list that we like wanted to look at or something? I think I like talked about
I
some of
don't even
these
think
the
it's
other
out
day.
yet.
Okay,
But
gotcha,
we got Pokepad. We yapped like for an hour about Pokepad last episode.
gotcha.
Um,
The main card that I care about is Stunfisk EX, which a lot
yes.
of people are not like super probably like caring about, but Stunfisk EX is extremely good because this thing is a 210 HP fighting type with a retreat lock attack on it. Um, and 210 HP is really important because that means that Gardevoir EX cannot knock out your Stunfisk EX without a Monkey Dory on the board. And as I talked about earlier, Gardevoir EX is not really allowed to put Monkey Dories on the board against you because otherwise you're gonna trap those. So the Stunfisk kind of just like easing the burden on like me having to catch stuff with Flute and Erica, I think is gonna be like really really good for the deck. So that's the main thing
Mm.
I'm excited for from Extended Heroes. I talked briefly the other day about how I think that's like maybe like a thin or even like maybe a thick like Dragonite line could be like kind of good because the Dragonair's ability is extremely powerful. I think it's like if you have an energy attached to it, you can search your deck for an evolution. So like, if I get to attach to a Dragonair, I get a Pidgeot. It's pretty good. And then the
Mm.
Dragonite has a free switch ability where you could just like it just plays the card switch for you. So that
Okay, okay.
that like
Kind of like
obviously
in
like
the
has
Latias
utility.
slot.
Yeah, yeah, in the
That's like
Latias
even
slot or
better
just
than
like
retreat.
yeah, in the Latias slot or like enabling just like a Blood Moon sweep, which is like a
Yeah.
win condition we've like leaned on in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, those are the cards I'm mostly interested in for Ascended Heroes. Otherwise, this set seems like it's probably just going to be like more of the same. Like we're probably going to still have like the big four decks, maybe even big three after people realize that this like Donzar deck is like not that good. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I heard some rumblings about Joltik maybe because the item card that makes the Pikachu hit like a truck is like in there. The tool card, there's like a tool card
Oh,
that's like plus
yeah.
50 to like Pikachu's, so it's
It's
like
like
your your
plus 50
yeah your
damage to
Pikachu like
Pikachu
hits
EX,
like
yeah.
30-50. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, but I don't anticipate like a ton of shakeup um, for like EUIC, which is like the debut tournament, and then like Seattle, Houston, Orlando, which will be like after that in North America. So the set should be chill, meta should be chill. Don't think too hard about it right now. Just focus on winning your Phantasmal Flames tournaments. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
There is a new optimal snow run.
Oh, true, true. The snow run being 70 HP is actually really big because now after you get Phantom Dive for the first time, you're allowed to bench a second snow run, which is really nice. Um, Also, Gardevoir can't take a snow run with two Adrenabrains, so yeah, I think it's like a notable buff, but like Frostlash decks in general just like might not be that good. Pokepad's probably decent in the deck, but like playing like an Ultra Ball for like the Ultra Ball like being able to get your Blood Moon is like pretty good. So I'm not like 100% sure about how much better that deck would be. I plan to test a little bit of Frostlass at the beginning, but like obviously like it's on it's like not like super high on my list.
Cool. Any,
Right on. Very good.
if you don't have anything else, any shout outs, any closing thoughts?
True. Plugs.
Um,
Where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter. I don't tweet much. Sometimes I play reply guy for my friends at Molar Raider. I think it's like a pretty obvious account to find. It's mostly just like deck lists though. Um,
Yeah. You're looking for the Drillbur.
True. Uh,
If you find Drillbur, you're probably at the right place.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I guess I'll shout out my friend and testing partner Alt Blitzel, who like worked with me like pretty hard on this deck. And then I'll shout out the community and the staff at Good Games, which is like where I got my start and like where I generally like to play the most. So
Real, real.
Nice.
Very good.
Do you want to plug the Twitch?
sure. Sometimes I live stream for a little bit, playing like ladder or like talking about stuff. It's not like super regular though, so like don't like really like look forward to it. But it's like the same at like
Yeah.
Molerator.
No schedule really.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Yeah,
right on.
that's like basically all for me. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you guys, what you're doing here.
We had to get you on.
Yeah.
Emergency pod.
Yeah, for real, type shit.
Ad hoc committee. We got on it.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna have to work our way up to get to you, but we
Right, right.
the background is he approached us because he knew his story was above our pay grade, and there's no way that we could have said no.
Yeah. Yeah, basically
uh,
free press.
I didn't
No,
say
I
that. I
mean,
didn't say all of that, but
Yeah,
no, for sure. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on, and to get some of this like real insight is awesome. And of course, congrats on the run.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. More to come in the future, hopefully. If you're like a GGer and you're listening to this, my answer to how you can get better is to play more Pokemon. That's it.
Facts, facts. Play more. It's that easy. Austin, you want to close this thing out?
yeah. So I guess I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you've made it
Facts.
this deep into the podcast, drop the most mole adjacent emoji you can find.
There's no mole emoji.
No, I couldn't find one. I saw a rat, but that's like not mole adjacent at all. There has to
It
be
might
This
be.
like
is bad, man.
I couldn't find one. We'll shout out the person who has the best mole adjacent emoji combination. Uh,
Right, right.
but going back, thanks everybody for watching. Uh, Thanks Kenneth for graciously stepping in and giving us some wisdom. And see you the next time we drop a new episode. We'll have to figure out how this affects our
Facts.
schedule. But
How this affects the schedule. I feel like we can. If you're down, I'm down to double up. We got to keep the fans eating,
true. We
but
are
we can't promise anything on the pod. It's unwise.
yeah, we are starting to run out of ideas. So if you have any suggestions, any questions, any deck lists,
Yes.
mailbox in the description.
Fan mail, hate mail.
Yeah, we will read hate mail online, and we will also read your email address if it's extra bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
signing off.
Thank you as well.